The vast reaches of the galaxy were ruled with an iron fist by the Galactic Council, a group of alien species united under one banner, each one technologically superior to all others. The Council's control over the galaxy had been unchallenged for centuries. They had crushed rebellions, quelled uprisings, and imposed order in ways that no race had dared to challenge. Their fleets, AI-driven warships, and unstoppable armies made them seem invincible. Across countless worlds, their word was law. For many in the galaxy, the humans of Earth were a joke. Considered primitive and insignificant, they were hardly seen as a threat to the galactic order. Even their rapid technological progress, which had brought them from horse-drawn carriages to towering cities in mere centuries, was viewed with condescension. The Council dismissed Earth and its people as little more than a novelty, a race still grappling with its identity, far from capable of challenging the galaxy's powerhouses. But then, a piece of intelligence arrives, something that shakes the very foundation of the Council's worldview. The intelligence comes from a trusted spy network that has been monitoring Earth's rapid progress. The report is brief but damning: humans are taming apex predators, creatures once thought to be unstoppable. This news spreads like wildfire throughout the Galactic Council. For the first time in centuries, an inkling of doubt is cast over their assumption of absolute supremacy. A high-ranking council member, Vixer, a seasoned strategist known for his cunning intellect and ruthless demeanor, dismisses the report with laughter. Primitive humans, he mutters under his breath, shaking his head. What could they possibly do with such dangerous creatures? The so-called apex predators are nothing more than beasts. His scornful tone reflects the general sentiment among the Council. To them, the idea that humans could tame the galaxy's deadliest creatures seems absurd. After all, these predators were not only powerful but uncontrollable, often decimating entire civilizations in their wake. The notion that Earth, a race still struggling with its basic survival, could control such forces is preposterous. But the report is undeniable, and it begins to linger in the minds of the Council members. Something must be done. There is a hesitation among the Council, a feeling of unease that they can't shake off. Could humans truly control apex predators? If so, it changes everything. Back on Earth, the sun begins to set, casting long shadows across a futuristic training facility. Towering walls surround the complex, filled with high-tech equipment and massive cages that house the terrifying creatures once thought to be untamable. The air is thick with anticipation. The camera pans to a young soldier, Jonah, standing at the edge of the training grounds. He is tall, athletic, and focused, his face a mixture of determination and tenderness. He stands before an immense creature, its glowing eyes locked onto his. This beast, which once would have slaughtered any who dared approach, now looks at Jonah with something different: trust. The creature is colossal, a hulking mass of muscle and fury. It has scales as black as night, with jagged spines running along its back, and claws capable of rending steel. Its roar echoes across the field, shaking the ground beneath Jonah's boots. The creature is an apex predator, a living weapon, whose mere presence sends chills down the spine of anyone who faces it. For millennia, these creatures were uncontrollable forces of nature, feared by every species that had ever encountered them. Yet here it is, at the mercy of a human. Jonah reaches out, his hand steady but with a faint tremor of excitement. Slowly, he speaks, his voice calm but firm: "Kneel." The beast, whose roar only moments ago could have flattened a mountain, obeys. Slowly, impossibly, the creature lowers itself to the ground, its massive form curling up as if it were a docile pet. Jonah steps forward, his heart racing, and climbs onto the beast's back. The world watches in stunned silence. How could this be possible? The creature's obedience to Jonah seems impossible. The soldiers standing nearby are equally stunned, unable to comprehend the scene before them. The beast, which should have torn Jonah apart with a single swipe of its claws, is now following his commands. There's a raw power in the creature, but there's also a surprising gentleness, a quiet trust that has been earned, not through force, but through understanding. This moment is not just a victory of human will, it's a testament to something deeper. Humans have learned to work with the creatures, not against them. The tension builds as Jonah guides the beast through an obstacle course designed to test the limits of both rider and beast. The creature moves with fluid grace, navigating the course with surprising precision. Jonah's bond with the predator is clear. He doesn't just command it, he communicates with it, understanding its needs and guiding it with respect and care. As they near the final hurdle, a massive jump over a chasm, the creature hesitates. For a split second, it seems as though the beast may disobey. The crowd holds its breath. Then, Jonah leans forward, his voice calm but filled with command, "Trust me." The beast looks at him, its eyes locking onto his, and in that moment, it leaps. The crowd gasps as the creature clears the chasm with ease, landing gracefully on the other side. Jonah pats the creature's side, his expression one of relief and triumph. The crowd erupts into applause, but Jonah's face remains serious. He knows this is just the beginning. Back in the Galactic Council's high chambers, the news of this demonstration reaches them. The reports are becoming more undeniable, and now the Council can no longer ignore the possibility. What had once been a rumor is now a reality. The humans have somehow figured out how to control these deadly apex predators, turning them into allies. The Council is in turmoil. How could this have happened? How could a species that was so clearly inferior to their own technology manage to tame forces that were previously uncontrollable? Vixer, still skeptical but now alarmed, calls for an immediate meeting. The room is filled with the most powerful minds in the galaxy, all of them now questioning everything they thought they knew. A deep sense of unease begins to settle over the Council. The humans had always been seen as weak, but now, they had something that could change the balance of power across the galaxy. The room falls into tense silence as Vixer's voice cuts through the air, "Prepare the fleet. If this is true, we will crush them before their power grows any stronger." As the Council prepares for their response, Jonah spends quiet moments with his tamed predator, Thor. The beast stands silently by his side, the bond between them undeniable. Jonah has spent years training with Thor, learning the creature's ways, understanding its instincts, and earning its trust. The bond they share is something more than just a human riding a beast, it is a partnership. Jonah knows that Thor is not just a weapon, not just a tool to be used in battle. The two share something deeper, a mutual understanding that goes beyond words. Jonah whispers softly, "We're not just fighting for Earth, Thor. We're fighting for everything we believe in." In the distance, the sky darkens as the first waves of the galactic fleet approach. Jonah's eyes narrow. He knows the coming battle will be like nothing he's ever faced before. The fight for Earth's survival is about to begin. Back in the high chambers of the Galactic Council, the news about humans taming apex predators has sent a shockwave through the room. Yet, the powerful leaders of the Council remain skeptical. For centuries, they have maintained their superiority over every known species, and they refuse to believe that a primitive race like humans could be capable of taming the galaxy's most dangerous creatures. The idea seems absurd. Humans simply don't have the technology, the resources, or the experience to control forces as wild and uncontrollable as these apex predators. The Council members gather around a massive holographic display, showing images of Earth's new advancements. A few of the more cautious members question whether the reports could be exaggerated, but Vixer, the Council's chief strategist, waves them off. There is no reason to fear these primitive creatures. Their technology is far behind ours, and their control over these beasts will falter. The predators are simply too dangerous to remain tamed for long. Some members agree, arguing that the predators are simply wild animals. No matter how advanced Earth's technology might be, the creatures will eventually break free of their human handlers. Others, however, are more wary, recognizing that Earth's ability to control the beasts could pose a risk to their rule. They debate whether they should act quickly to eliminate the threat before it can grow. "Should we send a fleet to Earth?" one council member asks, uncertain but eager to strike before it's too late. Vixer stands confidently, his arms crossed over his chest. The time to act is now. If humans have tamed these apex predators, we cannot allow them to continue growing in power. Their new abilities could challenge the balance of power in the galaxy. The council remains divided, but Vixer's words echo in their minds. As the debate rages on, the more aggressive members push for action, fearing that waiting too long could allow Earth's technology to develop further. They begin to convince the council that a swift response is necessary. Finally, the decision is made. The fleet will be sent to Earth, not just as a precaution, but as an outright mission to eliminate this growing threat. Vixer's words are clear: we cannot allow the humans to become a power that rivals the Galactic Council. They must be stopped before their taming becomes more than a curiosity. The Council's members, still reeling from the shock of the news, reluctantly agree, overconfident in their own superiority. Behind closed doors, the final orders are given. The Council activates its fleet, a terrifying array of AI-driven warships and battle-ready drones, all prepared for a mission of total destruction. Their weapons are sleek and advanced, their tactics carefully calculated by years of warfare. The fleet will arrive at Earth within hours. The fleet's commanders, all seasoned officers accustomed to striking down entire planets, scoff at the idea that humans could pose any real challenge. "We'll crush them in no time," one of them says smugly, as they finalize the plans for an assault on Earth. The overconfidence in the room is palpable. They believe that with their overwhelming power, they can easily wipe out this so-called human threat before it can even make a dent in their plans. But as the fleet departs toward Earth, Vixer looks out at the stars, his eyes narrowed. Though his confidence remains, there is a lingering feeling that maybe, just maybe, this human race is different from all the others they've conquered. But it's too late for second-guessing. The fleet is already on its way. Back on Earth, Jonah receives the first alarming signal of the approaching fleet. The intelligence has come in, and it's clear, the Galactic Council is mobilizing its ships for war. The overwhelming force of the enemy fleet has been detected in the outskirts of the solar system. Jonah stands before a wall of screens in Earth's military command center. His mind races as he absorbs the gravity of the situation. The Council's fleet is headed straight for Earth, and they're coming in fast. Earth's leaders and military commanders had suspected that this day, the fate of humanity hangs in the balance, and Jonah knows that every decision, every move, could be the difference between survival and extinction. The camera zooms in on Jonah's determined face as he surveys the terrain ahead. The distant glow of the galactic fleet can now be seen, drawing closer with each passing second. Jonah exhales slowly. It's time to fight. With a single command, he and his team surge forward, the beasts under their command roaring to life. As the first shots from the Council's fleet light up the sky, Jonah's heart races. The battle is about to begin, and there's no turning back. The first clash between humanity and the Galactic Council's fleet is nothing short of catastrophic. As the Council's AI-controlled warships arrive in Earth's orbit, they expect to find a world unprepared, helpless against their superior technology. But what they find instead is a surprise that shakes them to their core. As the fleet looms above Earth, ready to deliver their deadly first strike, a sudden flash of movement catches the attention of the Council's commanders. They had expected to see only Earth's defenses, antiquated weapons and outdated technology. What they didn't expect was the human military, cloaked and poised, ready to strike back with terrifying power. Jonah and his team, mounted on their apex predators, leap from the shadows, taking full advantage of their cloaking devices. With barely a sound, they launch their ambush on the fleet, attacking with a ferocity that sends shockwaves through the Council's ranks. The sky erupts with the force of orbital bombardments, massive explosions lighting up the atmosphere as Earth's defenses fire at the incoming ships. Below, the ground shakes as the humans and their beasts tear through the enemy's defenses with astonishing speed. Jonah and his soldiers move with precision, using their advanced suits to enhance their speed and strength. With each strike, the human forces prove that they are no longer the weaklings the Galactic Council had once dismissed. The battle rages across multiple fronts. Above, Jonah's team is cloaked, invisible to the naked eye. They leap onto the hulls of enemy warships, tearing through the metal defenses like paper. Their apex predators, massive and terrifying, leap alongside them, ripping through the robotic drones sent by the Council. The creatures' claws slash through the air, catching enemies off guard, while the humans, expertly trained, strike with incredible precision. Jonah is in the thick of it. His beast, Thor, lets out a deafening roar, its claws digging into the hull of an enemy ship as Jonah swings down with his energy blade, cutting through a drone's central processor. The battle is chaotic, a blur of weapons fire, explosions, and the sound of metal on metal. The humans, working in perfect harmony with their beasts, move like a well-oiled machine, striking fast and hard. The soldiers don't just fight for survival. They fight for their homes, their families, and for the future of humanity. The stakes have never been higher, and Jonah knows that every move counts. As he spins around, taking down enemy after enemy, he feels a fierce pride swell within him. This is humanity's moment, and they will not go down without a fight. But the tide of battle is not without its losses. During one of the fiercest encounters, Jonah's squad is caught in an ambush. AI-controlled warships, with their seemingly endless waves of robotic drones, begin to push back the human forces. Jonah's heart sinks as he watches his friend, Bonner, fall. Bonner, always the brave one, had been right beside Jonah since the beginning. He had proven his loyalty and courage countless times. Now, as the drones close in on their position, Bonner makes the ultimate sacrifice. Go! Get out of here! Bonner shouts as he covers the retreat of his squad. His face is grim, but his eyes are full of determination. He's the last one standing, and he knows it. Jonah hesitates, watching in horror as Bonner takes on the enemy with a relentless fury, his energy shield flickering as it takes hit after hit. Jonah's team fights back with everything they have, but Bonner's sacrifice buys them the time they need to escape. He charges forward, taking down enemy drones one after another, until a final blast hits him. His body collapses in a heap, but the battle rages on. Jonah's heart aches as he watches his friend fall. Bonner, Jonah whispers, his voice choked with emotion. Jonah swears vengeance in that moment, making a silent promise to Bonner's memory. The battle has taken a personal turn. This is no longer just a fight for survival, it's a fight for justice. Humanity will not let this stand. Despite the initial success, the Galactic Council's fleet is far from defeated. As Jonah's team retreats, they realize that their victory was only a small skirmish in a much larger war. The apex predators, impressive as they are, cannot match the sheer technological might of the Council's AI-controlled warships and robots. The tide of the battle shifts rapidly as the humans begin to realize the full extent of their enemy's power. The Council's drones, robotic soldiers that outnumber the humans by the thousands, move in with deadly efficiency. Jonah and his team are forced to retreat further, their cloaking devices now the only protection they have against the overwhelming enemy forces. The roar of the apex predators, once a symbol of hope, is drowned out by the shriek of enemy ships as they close in on the humans' position. Jonah's heart races as he looks back at his team, knowing that the battle isn't over. His squad, battered but not broken, fights to the last man. They retreat into the depths of Earth's wilderness, using the terrain to their advantage. But the Council is relentless. The war has only just begun. Jonah looks out into the distance, his mind filled with both grief and determination. Bonner's sacrifice will not be in vain. He has to fight harder. For Bonner. For Earth. For humanity's survival. As Jonah and his team make their way into the cover of the forest, they know one thing for certain, this fight is far from over. And the Galactic Council won't rest until they've wiped humanity off the map. The tension reaches its peak as Jonah looks back one final time. The sky above is darkened with the smoke of battle, and the sounds of warfare echo in the distance. The Council's warships are still in orbit, but they won't give up easily. Jonah tightens his grip on Thor's reins, feeling the beast's power beneath him. "We're not done yet," Jonah says, his voice filled with a quiet resolve. "This is just the beginning." The screen fades to black as the sound of distant explosions continues to echo, leaving the audience hanging on the edge of their seats. What will Jonah and his team do next? Will they regroup and strike back? Or will the Council's relentless forces finally overwhelm them? Only time will tell. After the devastating first encounter, Jonah and his team retreat into the wilderness. The sky above Earth remains filled with the remnants of the Galactic Council's warships, and the sounds of battle still echo in their ears. But amidst the ashes of the first battle, something burns brighter within Jonah's heart: determination. This fight is far from over, and the Council won't get the last word. As the team regroups, Jonah surveys their losses and the overwhelming power of the Galactic Council. They might have been caught off guard at first, but now they know what they're up against. Jonah looks at his soldiers, their faces etched with exhaustion, but there's a fire in their eyes that refuses to die. He looks toward the apex predators, beasts once thought to be too wild to control. Yet these creatures had proved themselves invaluable during the battle. Jonah realizes that to win this war, he and his team must adapt and think beyond conventional tactics. They must combine their human ingenuity with the raw power of these predators. Jonah calls a meeting with Lena, an incredibly gifted AI engineer who has been working alongside him throughout the conflict. Lena, a brilliant but quiet woman, looks up from her terminal as Jonah enters. "We need a new plan," he says. "We can't fight this war the same way again." Lena nods, her mind already racing with ideas. "We have the technology to make the beasts more than just weapons. If we hack into the Council's communication network, we can cause massive confusion. Their drones and AI-controlled ships are dependent on flawless coordination. If we disrupt their communications, we can shift the tides in our favor." Jonah's eyes widen. "What are you thinking?" Lena smiles, revealing a hint of her plan. "We need to give our apex predators cloaking tech that rivals their own. If we can make them invisible on the battlefield, the Council won't even know what hit them." Jonah doesn't need any more convincing. Together, they start the work of melding human strategy with the beast's incredible strength. Lena gets to work on hacking into the Galactic Council's military systems while Jonah trains the apex predators to fight more strategically. They attach new cloaking devices to the beasts, making them almost undetectable to the enemy's sensors. This new combination of stealth and brute force could be humanity's key to victory. As the days pass, the human forces prepare for the second confrontation, knowing they must be smarter this time. Lena's hack into the Council's communications network is a masterpiece. The moment they execute it, chaos erupts in the Galactic Council's ranks. The AI drones and warships, once synchronized and deadly, now struggle to communicate. Some ships fire on each other in confusion, while others break formation and begin to retreat. It's exactly the opportunity the humans need. Jonah and his soldiers, now fully equipped with new cloaking technology, mount their apex predators once more. They've learned how to blend with the beasts, moving in perfect harmony as if they were a single unit. The cloaking devices make them invisible, allowing them to approach their enemies undetected. Jonah looks toward Lena, who watches the battle unfold from a secure location. "Time to strike," he says, his voice filled with resolve. Jonah and his team, cloaked and invisible, move into position for the ultimate battle. They don't need to wait long before the galactic fleet is within reach. The moment they appear on the battlefield, all hell breaks loose. The second battle is much larger, and this time, the stakes are even higher. The battlefield is set in an open field, a stark contrast to the dense forests where the first battle took place. The Galactic Fleet, still reeling from the disruption in their communications, attempts to regroup, but they're too late. Jonah and his team, riding their cloaked apex predators, charge forward. The beasts, massive and powerful, break through the enemy's lines, their claws and fangs tearing through alien soldiers with brutal efficiency. Jonah's heart pounds in his chest as he fights alongside his comrades. With his energy blade drawn, he leaps from his beast's back and lands on an enemy warship, slicing through the hull with precision. The cloaking devices make it nearly impossible for the Galactic Council's fleet to target them. One by one, the humans and their predators tear through the enemy defenses, overwhelming the advanced AI drones that once seemed unstoppable. As the battle rages on, the real turning point becomes clear. The Galactic Council's drones begin to malfunction. Lena's hack is working. Their communication systems are completely scrambled, and the once perfect coordination is now in disarray. Some drones stop responding entirely, while others begin firing on their own fleet. Confusion reigns in the galactic ranks. Jonah can see the fear on the faces of the Council's commanders as their forces fall apart before their eyes. Their advanced technology, once thought to be invincible, is now being defeated by a combination of human willpower, strategy, and the power of the apex predators. Jonah leads his team with fierce determination, knowing that victory is within their grasp. His soldiers fight with renewed vigor, spurred on by the success of their plan. The apex predators, once mere beasts, are now humanity's greatest weapons. They tear through enemy lines, their roars echoing across the battlefield. Jonah can't help but feel a deep sense of pride as he watches the predators rip through enemy drones. These creatures, once thought to be untamable, are now key to humanity's survival. As the battle reaches its peak, the humans seem to have the upper hand. The Galactic Council's fleet is in disarray, their AI drones malfunctioning and their ships falling apart. Jonah and his team continue to fight, pushing the Council's forces back. The tide of the battle has turned, and for the first time, it seems like victory might actually be possible. The battle unfolds like a symphony of chaos. Massive explosions light up the sky as orbital bombardments strike the Council's ships. Below, the apex predators rip through enemy soldiers, their claws shredding armor and metal with ease. Jonah and his team move like shadows, striking swiftly and disappearing just as quickly, cloaked in their invisibility. The landscape is torn apart by the violence of the fight, craters forming where bombs have fallen, and smoke rising from the wreckage of destroyed ships. Jonah moves with deadly precision, cutting down one enemy after another, his heart racing with adrenaline. The once impossible task of defeating the Galactic Council now seems within reach, but Jonah knows the battle isn't over yet. The real test is still to come. The atmosphere is thick with tension as the Galactic Council makes one final move to crush humanity once and for all. A colossal warship, the Overlord, emerges from the depths of space. It dwarfs anything the humans have encountered so far, an immense vessel, heavily armed and brimming with an army of AI-controlled robots. The ship's blackened hull reflects the distant stars, its ominous presence casting a shadow over Earth. Jonah and his team know that this is no ordinary warship, it's the Council's last weapon, and its arrival signals their final, desperate attempt to annihilate humanity. Jonah, standing on the command bridge of their hidden base, watches the Overlord approach Earth. His heart pounds in his chest. This will be the hardest fight they've ever faced. The Overlord is equipped with technology so advanced that it feels almost unbeatable. Yet, there's one thing Jonah knows: Earth will not fall without a fight. The remaining forces of the Galactic Fleet, though battered from the previous battles, regroup behind the Overlord. It's clear that the Council intends to finish what they started. Jonah and his team must now face the impossible task of destroying this behemoth while holding off the remnants of the fleet. The odds are stacked against them, but they have something the Council does not: determination, ingenuity, and the will to survive. As the Overlord enters Earth's orbit, the first wave of the battle begins. Jonah's team, armed with their cloaking technology and apex predators, prepares to infiltrate the warship. The plan is risky, but it's their only hope. They can't allow the Overlord to land on Earth, and they certainly can't let it fire its devastating weapons on the planet. Jonah looks to his team. "We've come this far," he says, his voice calm but filled with unshakable resolve. "We take this ship down or we die trying." With that, the humans and their apex predators make their move. Cloaked in invisibility, they infiltrate the Overlord, sneaking past its outer defenses. But the closer they get to the ship's core, the more they realize just how formidable it truly is. The Overlord is swarming with elite robotic soldiers, armed with powerful weapons and programmed to protect the ship at all costs. These aren't ordinary drones, these are the best the Council has to offer. The battle within the Overlord is brutal. Jonah leads the charge, cutting through the enemy with ruthless efficiency. His team fights side by side with their apex predators, who tear through robotic soldiers with ease. The cloaking devices allow them to strike from the shadows, staying one step ahead of the enemy. The deeper they move into the ship, the more intense the fighting becomes. The AI-controlled drones are relentless, attacking in waves. Jonah's team fights on, but with every step, they lose more ground. The ship is like a maze, and the further they venture, the more dangerous it becomes. Yet, despite the overwhelming odds, Jonah's resolve never falters. Finally, they reach the heart of the Overlord, where its command center lies. Here, Jonah faces the ultimate test. In the center of the command room, Jonah comes face to face with the leader of the Galactic Fleet's AI army. This AI, a towering figure made of metal and circuitry, steps forward. It's the embodiment of everything the Council believes in: logic, efficiency, and cold, calculated power. Jonah tightens his grip on his energy blade, knowing that this will be the fight that determines Earth's fate. The AI speaks, its voice a perfect blend of cold calculation and mockery. "You are foolish, human. You think you can defeat the most advanced military force in the galaxy with brute force and primitive technology?" Jonah doesn't respond. Instead, he charges, his blade flashing through the air. The AI leader parries his strike with a sleek energy shield, its movements fluid and precise. Jonah attacks again, each blow faster and stronger than the last, but the AI leader counters every move. The battle is a deadly dance, each strike and counterstrike bringing them closer to the ultimate showdown. The tension in the room is palpable as Jonah and the AI leader lock eyes, each knowing that the fate of their worlds depends on this fight. The AI leader is powerful, but Jonah is driven by something more. The will to protect Earth, to protect everything he holds dear, gives him an edge. With a final, decisive blow, Jonah strikes the AI leader down. Sparks fly, and the robotic figure collapses to the ground. But even with the leader defeated, the Overlord is not yet neutralized. Jonah knows that they still have a long way to go to destroy the ship and win the battle. Just as Jonah thinks they are on the verge of victory, disaster strikes. Bonner, one of Jonah's closest friends and a member of the team, is gravely injured in the heat of the battle. Jonah watches in horror as Bonner is struck down by a blast from one of the enemy drones. His friend falls to the ground, bloodied and broken. "No!" Jonah cries out, rushing to Bonner's side. But there's nothing he can do. Bonner looks up at Jonah, a weak smile on his face. It's okay, Jonah," he whispers, his voice faint. "We've come this far. We won." With those words, Bonner closes his eyes, his life slipping away. Jonah's heart shatters as he watches his friend die. The weight of the loss hits him like a ton of bricks, but it also fuels his rage. The Galactic Council will pay for this. Bonner's sacrifice is not in vain. Jonah steels himself, wiping away the tears that threaten to fall. He turns to his team, who are equally shaken by the loss. For Bonner, Jonah says, his voice filled with fury and determination. "We finish this." With Bonner's sacrifice pushing them forward, Jonah and his team make their final assault on the Overlord. They plant explosives throughout the ship, targeting its core systems. The Overlord is large, but it is not invincible. As they move through the ship, they can hear the alarms blaring, signaling that the ship is beginning to break apart. The final moments of the battle are a blur of chaos. The team fights off the remaining enemies, moving quickly to set the final charges. Jonah knows that the Overlord's destruction will be the end of the Council's reign. This is the moment that will shape the future of humanity. As the charges detonate, the Overlord explodes in a blinding flash of light. The shockwave ripples through the battlefield, sending the remaining enemy forces into disarray. Jonah and his team stand, battered but victorious, as the ship's wreckage floats in space. The Galactic Council's last hope is gone. The battle is over, but the cost has been high. Jonah and his team have fought with everything they have, and they've lost friends along the way. The Galactic Council has been defeated, but the war has left scars that will never heal. Jonah looks up at the stars, the weight of the victory settling in. Earth is safe for now, but the road ahead will be long. However, for the first time, humanity knows that they can face whatever comes next. They've proven that they can stand against the most powerful forces in the galaxy, and win. The final showdown may have ended, but the story of humanity's rise has only just begun. The battle rages on as Jonah and his team, alongside their apex predators, push through the corridors of the Overlord. The warship, once a symbol of the Galactic Council's might, now trembles in the face of human resolve. Jonah's heart beats faster with every step as he and Lena, the brilliant AI engineer, work together to execute the plan that could end the war. Lena's fingers fly over her portable console, hacking into the Overlord's core systems. Almost there, she whispers to Jonah, her face lit by the glow of her device. Her eyes narrow in concentration as she bypasses layers of security. Jonah, aware of the stakes, stands guard, watching as the Overlord's automated defenses continue to fight back. But Lena is unrelenting, and with a final keystroke, she disables the warship's power grid. The Overlord's systems go dark for a moment, and then the emergency alarms begin to wail. Jonah exchanges a look with Lena. "It's time," he says, and together, they make their way to the ship's central reactor, where they plant the final charges. As they set the explosives, Jonah's thoughts drift back to the long journey that has led to this moment. The countless battles, the sacrifices, the losses. He can still hear the voice of Bonner, his fallen comrade, urging him to finish what they started. And now, they are so close. The final blow is within their grasp. With the charges set, Jonah and his team race to the escape pods. The Overlord is about to meet its end. As the countdown to detonation reaches its final seconds, Jonah looks back at the warship one last time. The Overlord, the symbol of the Galactic Council's power, will no longer haunt humanity. It will be nothing but space debris. A memory of a war fought and won. The explosion that follows is a blinding flash of light, and Jonah feels the shockwave hit him even in the escape pod. The Overlord's destruction marks the end of the conflict. The Galactic Council's most powerful weapon is gone, and with it, their ambitions of domination over Earth. The victory is bittersweet. Jonah and his team watch as the Overlord's wreckage floats in space, a twisted heap of metal and debris. The remaining Council fleet has scattered, retreating in disarray, humiliated and broken. Earth's forces have held their ground. The Galactic Council has been forced to acknowledge the strength of humanity, something they had never expected. Jonah feels the weight of their triumph, but it's not without cost. The emotional scars of the battle are heavy. He thinks of Bonner, who sacrificed his life for the mission, and all the other fallen comrades who gave everything for the cause. The victory feels hollow without them. The price of humanity's triumph is too high, and Jonah knows that the wounds will never fully heal. Lena, too, reflects on the losses. "We've proven that we can stand up to the most powerful forces in the galaxy," she says quietly, her voice distant. "But at what cost?" Jonah doesn't have an answer. All he knows is that humanity has survived against the odds. They've shown that they are not just survivors but fighters, capable of taming the fiercest predators and mastering advanced technology. The Galactic Council underestimated them, and now they will never forget the lesson. But even as Jonah reflects on the victory, he knows that Earth's future is uncertain. The Council's retreat does not mean peace. They may have won the battle, but the war for Earth's survival is far from over. Jonah and his team have earned a moment of respite, but they can't afford to relax. The universe is vast, and Earth has just proven itself to be a worthy target for any force looking for power. The story closes with a sense of accomplishment but also unease. The Earth is safe for now, but Jonah knows that humanity's journey is far from over. As the survivors regroup and tend to their wounded, the memories of the fallen heroes linger. The war has left its mark on them, but it has also strengthened their resolve. Jonah stands on the command deck of the newly established Earth fleet, gazing out at the stars. The threat of the Galactic Council may have been eliminated, but new dangers are already on the horizon. He doesn't know what the future holds, but he knows that humanity is now stronger than ever before. "We've won," Jonah says, but the words feel hollow in his mouth. But it's just the beginning. Lena joins him, standing silently by his side. "The universe is a big place," she replies. "There are always bigger fish." Jonah nods, the weight of her words settling over him. They've won this battle, but the universe is filled with unknowns, forces far greater than the Galactic Council. Humanity has shown that it can hold its own, but it's clear that there are other powers watching, waiting to see how Earth will fare in the wake of this victory. As the camera pulls away, Earth's fleet begins to rebuild. The survivors return to their home planet, their mission complete, but their eyes are set on the future. The Galactic Council has been defeated, but the vastness of the galaxy still holds mysteries, and dangers, that humanity is only beginning to understand. In the distance, a shadow moves through space. A new force, one far more formidable than the Galactic Council, watches Earth with interest. It's clear that the galaxy has not forgotten humanity's rise. The journey is far from over, and there are more challenges ahead. The screen fades to black, leaving only the quiet hum of a distant engine, as the story ends with a sense of both closure and anticipation. The battle for Earth may be over, but humanity's place in the galaxy has just begun.